Aloha, welcome to TMDR, the Maui Daily Report for Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. I'm Chivo Ching Johnson. These are some of the stories that may interest you today. Last Friday, Maui County Council members voted unanimously 9-0 to approve by resolution the use of up to $5 million from the Managed Retreat Revolving Fund for property acquisition by the Lahaina Community Land Trust. During public testimony, Lahaina Community Land Trust Executive Director Autumn Ness told council members that Lahaina is becoming a model for land protection and resident community organization. Ness also said the Land Trust has already secured 2 parcels for forever community ownership and, quote, "we are under contract for 4 more," end quote. This morning, the Water Authority, Social Services, and Parks Committee also received an update on a pilot program allowing people to sleep in cars in county-owned lots. Representatives from the Mayor's Office and the Department of Human Concerns provided details. Sasha Brown, a visiting specialist from Santa Rosa, California, discussed that their city's safe parking program, which began back in May 2022, was very successful. Santa Rosa's program provides 52 parking spaces with access to food, sanitation, and support services. A house fire in Wailuku neighborhood on Pikale Street occurred yesterday evening, shortly before 7 p.m. The property is located between Waiʻale Road and the Spreckles Ditch. The fire was of high concern, particularly to neighbors. However, due to the large ditch bordering the property, the fire was quickly contained before spreading. Firefighters continued to watch the site for some time afterwards, which is protocol, to ensure the fire was completely out. Maui County residents are invited to participate in community meetings for the 2025 Hazard Mitigation Plan update, starting this Thursday, February 27th. Facilitated by MEMA, the plan is designed to reduce risks from natural hazards like earthquakes, hurricanes, and wildfires. MEMA hopes to gather public input to shape a 5-year mitigation strategy. The first meeting will be held this Thursday, as I said, February 27th, from 5 to 6 p.m. at the Velma McWayne Santos Community Center in Wailuku. That meeting will be streamed on the County of Maui Facebook page and also air on Akaku Channel 55. The next meetings will be on March 4th and then again a meeting April 16th. I'll give you updates closer to those meetings. Sad news in the surfing world. Kai McNamara, the older brother of Landon McNamara, who just won this year's Eddie, was pulled unresponsive from pipeline Sunday afternoon. Makai McNamara's best friend was reportedly the first to reach him after 2 minutes underwater when a rough wave put him head first into the reef. Lifeguards were able to revive him once they got him to the beach, but there are mixed reports on his current condition. We will keep you posted. The Maui Fire Department Fire Chief Brad Ventura and members of the Fire Commission held a badge pinning ceremony for several new chief officers as they take their new positions. Ryan Otsubo is the new Assistant Chief of Support Services. Rylan Yatsushiro, Riza Osman, and Tim Herrick have all been promoted to Battalion Chief. The County of Maui will be holding 3 public meetings in March on its Draft Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Action Plan. On December 20th, more than $1.6 billion in funding was appropriated by Congress to support recovery efforts stemming from the 2023 Maui wildfires. The funding will be provided to the County of Maui through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. The in-person meetings will be March 8th and the 14th. A virtual meeting will be held March 11th. You can register online at this link below for all of these events. Fairmont Kealani and Co. Restaurant present the Taste of Kapoho, a special fundraising dinner on Saturday, March 22nd from 5 to 9 p.m. to support the ongoing restoration of the Waiheʻe Coastal Dunes and Wetlands Refuge, an ecologically and culturally significant site. The evening will feature a roaming dining experience with 6 unique chef stations, each highlighting ingredients connected to the ahupua'a of Waiheʻe and the ʻiliʻaina of Kapoho, along with live entertainment from Waiheʻe. Our state legislators have been working hard for quite a while now to get more locally grown food in school meals, both for the health of students and to support local farmers. Throughout the month of February, Hawaii Public School cafeterias statewide were offered the opportunity to serve banana maia sheet pancakes for breakfast, featuring locally grown apple bananas. Hawaii apple bananas are the main variety grown by local producers here, with over 2,000 pounds distributed to serve 92 participating schools. Hawaii's public schools are the state's largest institutional consumer of food products, serving over 100,000 student meals every school day. In better news from our neighbor islands, new research has uncovered evidence that an ancient Hawaiian heiau on Hawaii Island served as a sophisticated seasonal calendar and more. Using mathematical analysis and modern mapping technology, the researchers discovered that carefully positioned stones within the heiau aligned with sunset positions throughout the year, effectively creating a calendar system. The structure, dating back between 1411 and 1465, helped ancient Hawaiians track seasonal changes crucial for agriculture and fishing. The research was published in the Scientific Journal of the Polynesian Society, representing one of the first scientific papers examining scientific aspects of native Hawaiian cultural structures. The ʻālalā, a Hawaiian crow, went extinct in the wild in 2002, but survived through a breeding program. Attempts to reintroduce them have been difficult, as hawks preyed on birds released on the Big Island. Captivity made them reliant on humans. Now 5 young ʻālalā have been released in a remote Maui forest, free of hawks. Biologists are monitoring them closely, hoping they adapt and thrive. Hawaii, home to many endangered species, struggles with reintroducing wildlife due to habitat loss, disease, and invasive species. The hope is that the ʻālalā can be a rare success story. Last year, we did this report on how the birds were recalled from a preliminary release on the Big Island after the hawks had discovered them. Now, after a spell in captivity, 5 of them have been re-released into a secluded jungle environment with the ability to keep an eye on them from a distance. Check this out.
In response to the near extinction of the ʻālalā, the Hawaiian crow, a number of breeding pairs were reintroduced to Hawaii Island forests in 2016 with promising results. By the end of 2019, these magnificent few were being devastated by a natural enemy, the iā, the Hawaiian hawk. The high mortality rate prompted wildlife experts to recall the remaining birds from the wild for predator assistance training. This is not an easy thing to do. So Division of Forest and Wildlife legend Fern Duval came up with another idea that might just work. Plans are underway to release the endangered ʻālalā into Maui forests, where there are no ʻio or Hawaiian hawks to attack them. There's a fossil record of the crow living here once upon a time. There are lots of food sources, lots of nesting trees, and most importantly, no hawks. The ʻālalā is surviving on a wing and a prayer. This latest move might just give them another chance.
Few people have more insight into our local homeless issues than Lori Ann Suhako. She was present at this morning's county committee meeting for a parking lot presentation. She found time to go over the misconceptions so many people have regarding this part of the population in our community.
One of the misconceptions in our community is that the homeless shelters are completely full and there's never any room for people who want to enter into the shelter. Every day, the state's coordinator on homelessness publishes a shelter report which shows the number of vacancy in each of the state-supported shelters across the state. We get that report here in Maui County. It's shared by my office to our service provider partners, to Maui Police Department and others. So I know that we're not dealing with a situation where every shelter is 100% full all the time. There are reasons that people choose not to enter shelter, and we shouldn't paint everybody with the same brush and say, oh, they're not going shelter because they don't follow the rules. It's not true for everybody. What is true is that in the old days, before we knew national best practices, shelters would require drug testing. So you had to have a clean drug test before you get accepted into the shelter. And what we've learned over the years is that our job, when we try to create a system of care, is to lower those barriers, make it easier for people to say, yes, I'll go into the shelter and accept those services. So that's what we've tried to do. We've removed requirements like drug testing before somebody can enter into the shelter. But people who go into the shelter have to be homeless. We don't want some tourist person going into the shelter for a place to sleep every night so they can go surfing during the day. That's not what the homeless shelter is for. The homeless shelter is for people who are really homeless. The other thing is that people have reasons for not going into shelter. They might have had a bad experience 20 years ago, or they may not like somebody who works at the homeless shelter. We don't know that right away, and we shouldn't assume that we know the answer to that. Some people have post-traumatic stress disorder. They cannot sleep in a room with 4 walls and a door. They need to be outdoors. We shouldn't judge. We just need to know that people have different reasons for saying no. And as a system, what I hope we can do is, when that person who said no 20 times to shelter has that change of heart and they say yes, I hope that our system can easily take that person and accommodate that need and find a place for them to be so they can be safe within the shelter. That is my hope, is that as a system we can respond that way. Say no 20 times, fine, but 21st time when they say yes, let's get ready to serve that person.
And that's it for today's Maui Daily Report. Mahalo for joining us, and please keep watching Akaku channels 53, 54, and 55. You can watch Akaku at akaku.org or on your phone 24/7 with our app Maui Stream. This is how we stay connected. I'm Chivo Cheng Johnson. Have a terrific Tuesday night. Be well, stay healthy, and keep smiling. Aloha.